Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
I like here, my family's here. I'm really close to my family. This kind of ties into the story as well. But, I wanted to be around, but I still wanted to be creative, So voiceover ultimately was a way to kind of marry, the want and desire to be around my friends and family, but also the intrinsic desire to be an artist,
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Hey. Welcome to the Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Good. Having a good week so far?
It's been a really good week. I'm actually going to take a couple of days off and go to the beach. So
must be nice.
I think that with March and April, it's been good months, so I'm just going to take a little breather and re-energize.
And I'm guessing based on recent podcasts, you're going to be taking your travel gear with you?
Absolutely. Already packed.
Love it, love it, love it. Good to hear that. Well, we've got a really fun, unique episode coming up, and we've wanted to do one of these for a while now, and we found the perfect guy to do this, and that is transitioning from on-camera acting to on-mic acting.
Yeah, I'm sure during COVID, a lot of people did that, so looking forward to getting the lowdown on it.
Yeah, Chris Burnett is a cool guy, and we're going to get him on in just a second. And Bobby, what have you been working on this week?
Oh, as you know, a lot of automotive.
A lot of automotive. Gotta love that automotive. It's that time of year, too. I have found, Bobby, my busiest time of the year for automotive is May. And
oh, good.
Yeah, Memorial Day. It's here. So Memorial Day sales will be penetrating your airwaves and your ears and eyes very, very soon. So when you see those ads and hear those ads, just know that's the stuff that Bobby and I work on a lot, and it's a great genre. And Chris Burnett works on that himself. Let's not wait anymore. Let's get Chris in the room.
Get him in here.
Chris Burnett, welcome to the Making Waves VO podcast. How are you, man?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so well. Thank you guys so much for having me. What a cool service you offer to the community, and I appreciate you guys inviting me on today.
Absolutely, man.
Our pleasure.
Started his career, I didn't do an official intro, but Chris started his career as an on-camera actor and has since become quite a successful voice actor. And he is an award winner. And Chris, welcome to the podcast. Let's start with, how did you get into acting in general? Not voice acting, but the on-camera stuff, or acting overall. How'd you get into that?
Yes, it took me a hot minute to kind of find my thing as a kid. I was doing sports and everything like that. And I think in high school, I went to a pretty large high school, and I realized I'm probably not going to make the basketball team, being 5'5", and decided I might need to start exploring something else. Anyway, my mom had suggested, hey, try out a play, go try out for this play. And I was like, okay, let me try that out. Really enjoyed it, and kind of pivoted in high school to became a theater kid. And it was the first thing I was really naturally kind of good at. And then the more work I put in, the more success I seemed to find. So I kind of just followed that. And into my adulthood here, still doing it. So,
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Arlington, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I left a couple of times. I went to DePaul University for their acting school briefly, and then ended up graduating from UT Austin with a communications degree. So I kind of went away, came back, but I always ended up finding myself back in Texas.
You don't want to miss what's next. Making Waves returns momentarily.
Hey there, it's J. Michael Collins, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Now back to my lobster.
Oh, Bobby, you know vacation season is upon us. A lot of people are going to be going on vacation, and a lot of us voice actors need to take travel gear with us. And good thing our friends at Full Compass have everything you need for traveling, like the iRig. Bobby, you know about the iRig, right?
I do know about the iRig, but I am an Android person. But you have an iPhone, right?
Yes, I have an iPhone, and a lot of people do have an iPhone. And if you go to fullcompass.com, just go into their search and just type in iRig, all one word, and all the products come up. And you're going to see all the different varieties of iRig things they have, which are great for traveling. They're compact, they're portable, they provide you with good quality sound. If you need something small and compact and sometimes emergency situations, they're going to have it for you at Full Compass.
Yeah, speaking of compact, I use the Focusrite for the road, the Scarlet, and it's just so tiny. I can put all of my gear in just a little carry-on case that I kind of shove underneath my feet on the plane. So they have the Scarlet, they have the 2i2, the 3i3. I mean, they've got just about every Focusrite product you can imagine at Full Compass.
I love the Focusrite myself because, like you said, it's compact and it is my go-to interface to take with me when I'm traveling. But if you're not traveling and you're more concerned about, hey, what are some long-term solutions for my sound, Kev? I'll tell you, Auralex products. Auralex are, I think they're the best, right?
Yeah, they are really good.
There are some other comparable products for treating sound. And now when we're talking about Auralex products, we're not talking about blocking out sound so much, but absorbing that echo sound that you might get in an untreated space. And here's the good news. For a limited time, Full Compass has some Auralex products on sale. So again, go to the search bar in the Full Compass page and type in Auralex. Let me do it right now so I can do it along with you. Auralex, Auralex. And all these wonderful products come up. Pages and pages of wonderful products. And some of them, Bobby, are on sale.
Ooh. Well, you know, Full Compass always has the low price guarantee, so that's always a great thing. They have free shipping on anything over $49, which if you're getting a whole road gear kit, you know, that's covered right there. And they always have their friendly, free expert assistance at Full Compass.
Call them at 1-800-356-5844 and talk to a sales consultant.
Or go to fullcompass.com.
Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And now, back to Making Waves.
How did you meet Kevin, by the way? Because he has been talking about you for several years.
You know,
It's all good.
I want to say through Rob
Okay.
Reed.
Tell us the traumatic story. Oh, it was Rob.
Yeah, it was a mutual connection through Rob, who's just an awesome person, and he's a Texas voiceover talent as well, who's super talented and a great human being.
Yeah, Rob is good friends with both Bobby and I and friend of the podcast as
Yes.
well. And so, Chris, let's go back to college because I remember
Yeah.
you shared this story with me when we were our wives and we were together
Yes.
sharing a cocktail in Dallas. And I
Yes.
remember hearing this story and I thought this is kind of cool. So let's go to college. You're in college. You're at DePaul, and you're trying to figure out your career path. And you're like, I don't know if I want to go into real estate. I don't know if I want to go into being, human resources for a corporation. You're like, maybe I'll give this acting thing a go, right?
Yeah. So I think it was weird. I just didn't really give a lot. I didn't give a lot of thought to like, hey, I want to do this or this when I'm an adult. I don't know why. I just was kind of having a good time and doing my thing. And so I applied to colleges for acting programs because it was kind of what I was doing. I got accepted to a lot of different universities for their acting schools, and DePaul at the time was highly regarded in theater, which I was focused on at that time. Anyways, when I got there, we did a little campus tour, and it was with all the other theater students, and I just was like, I don't really know a lot outside of this, and I got really overwhelmed with how intense the program was going to be. So I just kind of I was like, you know what? I'm going to take general classes. I don't think I'm going to do this theater thing. I can always circle back to it. And I got there and I dropped out of the theater program. I remember I was like the only everybody was like, "Are you the guy that dropped out of the DePaul theater program on campus?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me. I don't know what I'm doing, but that's kind of what I did." And so I ended up moving back to Texas and was like, I'm going to get a communications degree and kind of stay in my lane a little bit, but I still was kind of, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And at the very end of school, we took, I don't want to bore listeners here, but we took an advertising class. I was like, oh, advertising sounds really up my alley. And when I graduated, I was like, well, let me circle back and just try acting. So that's kind of, I was like, let me just try it out. Can you tell I'm like a middle child Libra? Like I'm all over the map here, you know?
I get that.
Dude, you're good. And so at the end of college, you had that choice to make. Do I want to do a 9 to 5 or really go for it? And
Right.
you went for it, right?
I did. I just was like, well, I'm going to give this a shot, you know? And so, as I'm sure everyone knows who's listening, there's not really like a playbook. It's a non-linear career path. So I kind of worked backwards at the time. So this would be like 2005-ish, I want to say. You needed an agent. So I just was like, I put together a headshot and resume of my theater credits at the time. I had done some film stuff in college, like just little corporate videos or student film type of thing. I was kind
The
of...
kind you find at the back room of a video store.
I don't know if these ever made it to the light of day. I'm sure they were fabulous at the time in their relevant place in history.
Right.
But anyways, so I put that together and I ended up getting an agent here locally in Dallas and kind of just started on that. And of course, I wasn't like a full-time actor at the time. I was taking lots of odd jobs and you know, just trying to make ends meet. But yeah, really focused on camera acting with a little bit of theater to start out. And ultimately, for about 5 or 6 years, focused on commercials and film, which I think is where we were going, right? Isn't this on camera to on mic, if I'm
Absolutely.
correct? That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Hey there, this is George the Tech, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
So you're still in Texas now, because I would have assumed with all the animation and the video game stuff that you'd be in LA.
Yeah, no, I've always, I like here, my family's here. I'm really close to my family. This kind of ties into the story as well. But, you know, I wanted to be around, but I still wanted to be creative, you know? So voiceover ultimately was a way to kind of marry, you know, the want and desire to be around my friends and family, but also the intrinsic desire to be an artist, you know? So yeah, that's ultimately why I'm here.
and Bobby's referencing a lot of anime work that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is that your strongest genre? Do you, now that you made that transition, you wanted to be around friends and family, and so you kind of transitioned from on camera? And did it start with anime, or what kind of got your foot in the door of
Sure.
voiceover?
Yeah, sure. So Funimation is a big anime. Well, it's not Funimation anymore. I believe it's Crunchyroll bought them out. But it's local to the DFW area. So, you know, it was a lot of opportunities for local actors and stuff. So I have some credits through them. How I got into voiceover, I guess, out of on camera was I had was going out for auditions as any actor would, doing commercials, films, things of that nature. I ended up booking a campaign for the Oklahoma Lottery, and you know, it was a series of commercials with another actor. And I remember at one point they were like, "Hey, we want to record a radio ad," and they booked a local studio. And I went in to record this radio ad that was, you know, the same kind of premise of the on-camera campaign. And that was kind of my first exposure to doing any sort of voiceover work at the time. And I was like, whoa, this is really neat. And it's kind of a whole other world I didn't really know existed. I feel like most people, I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like most people, at least at the time, they either came from radio or they were actors who like found voiceover through some other Did you guys have that experience as well with most of your guests?
They've come from all different facets, man.
Mm.
It's a lot are from radio, right, Bobby? But a lot have come from different areas. I think we have experienced the fewest that have come from on camera, I think, maybe.
Oh, wow. That's so funny. I feel like it's like more well known now that it's an option as a performance career, you know? But at the time, this was all news to me. So I just stuck around after the session and watched the client kind of leave and, you know, hid in my car and went back in and I asked the engineer, hey, this is really neat. I would love to be involved in this. How do I do it? And that was kind of my first little appetizer plate into voiceover.
And that was only how many years ago?
That was probably I want to say around 2008 or 9.
Wow.
And then within a few years, I had really put the majority of my focus into how do I become a full-time voiceover talent. That's ultimately where I want to pivot and go to. So that became kind of my primary focus at that time, while I was still doing on-camera stuff, you know, but really trying to grow the voiceover side.
So how did you get signed with CESD? Was it through your anime work or pretty much commercial work?
Mostly through commercial. I mean, that's kind of been my bread and butter for the most part, because I think it's just because I came from the on-camera side. I have a general, I don't know, a nuanced understanding of it from being the on-camera talent and then transitioning over to the commercial side. The acting has always been honestly for me, the acting's the easier part. The hard part for me was the tech. It still is.
Oh.
You know? I'm always envious of, you know, people that come from radio that seem to just know their way around tech. I think Kevin and I, we talked about this a little bit, you know?
Yeah, your audio always sounds good though, man. So you've got it. I wouldn't change a thing with what you're doing. What are the other? Well, let's go back to on camera compared to on mic.
Yes.
What do you think is harder? Like, you know, let's go with performance. Let's forget the tech. Let's go with performance. What's harder?
Well, I'll say this about on camera. This is just my personal experience. What was challenging was you know, you get kind of typecast if you're not a celebrity, which, you know, spoiler alert, I'm not. So, you know, it was a lot of like techie, you know, guy next door, store clerk. I mean, I've just told you I'm not super techie, you know? And so I found myself in situations a lot where I was being cast to my type of how I look or present or my stereotype is, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't necessarily a reflection of who I was in my day-to-day life. And on the voiceover side, I feel like the more authentic I am, the more and the more true my point of view is, the more that's rewarded, you know? So from a performance standpoint, it's like a little bit easier in voiceover because they, you know, you guys see the reads, and I'm sure everyone out there listening, it's, you know, authenticity, grounded, and so that's been really refreshing and where I try and approach everything from.
I think you are like the poster child of the conversational read. I mean, I know a lot of that is your acting background, but if I think conversational, which I have such a hard time doing, I think of exactly what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will just say that, and from the on cameras, I was going to just mention that it's for film and commercial, it's very technical at times, you know, so you have to say it in a certain amount of time, or they're trying to get the shot, you know, we've only got 3 seconds for this line here. So there's nuances outside of the performance when you're on camera, if you will.
Hang around. We'll be back shortly.
What's up? This your boy Trey Mosley, and this is the Making Waves VO podcast with Double K, Kevin Kilpatrick, and my girl Bobby Maxwell. Give a listen, y'all.
Full Compass is your one-stop destination for cutting-edge audio, video, and lighting solutions. With nearly 50 years of industry expertise, we offer a vast selection of high-quality equipment, from microphones, recording interfaces, and software, to audio accessories, monitors, headphones, and other pieces to help you find your ideal sound. Our trained product experts are here to help every step of the way with unmatched customer service. You'll also get free same-day shipping, flexible financing options, and a low-price guarantee. Visit us online at fullcompass.com or call 800-356-5844 today.
Now back to the podcast.
We're talking with Chris Burnett, going from on-camera actor to voiceover actor, and we're going to get, he's honored us and is going to do a cold read challenge for us. In just a couple of minutes. Stick around for that, and Chris will explain that, and we're going to set you up for success and all those good things. What do you enjoy more? Did you like doing the on-camera stuff, or do you do voiceover more?
Well, it's interesting. Right now, currently, I'm kind of circling back to on-camera because it's not like a job to me anymore, you know? And so I found myself I really enjoy the narrative process of on-camera and filmmaking. So I am circling back and finding myself in those environments again. But overall, I enjoy voiceover the most. It's just been a tremendous blessing to me. I'm a family man. I'm a dad first, a husband. And this career has just been so wonderful to me. And it affords me time, which I could consider to be the ultimate commodity, is time. Mm-hmm. And I get time with the people I want to spend the most time with. So I love this one the most, but it's mostly because it provides a wonderful lifestyle when I'm in town. As I'm sure you guys know, when you travel, it's like I tell people, well, now that I'm traveling, that's like stressful to me. Day to day is great, you know. But as long as I'm close to, the vicinity of my booth, my life here is just wonderful, and I'm so grateful to VoiceOver for it.
I did a little digging in your website. I'm stalking you.
Thank you for looking at it. I worked so hard on it. I appreciate you digging into it.
It's impressive. It really is. But I noticed that you do a lot of ongoing campaigns. One of them, Kevin, is called Nobody Trashes Tennessee, which I want to know where you got that, because we're both in Nashville, But I guess my big question is, what advice do you give for keeping a client so you have that ongoing work?
What advice? I wish that I had some magic formula for that. I personally think of, campaigns are they're like seasons, and so I don't ever try and close a door on any relationship. And I learned this from the on-camera side. A lot of times people. This has just been my experience. I'm not meaning to sound preachy, but sometimes clients, it has nothing to do with you or your performance or the work you've done or you didn't do. It's just like, hey, we're going to change things up. And a lot of times in the on-camera side, which I think I've also seen on the voiceover side, is, the ad agency might change, or the marketing director might get a new job somewhere else. And so the campaign changes, but it has nothing to do with you. And so maintaining a positive relationship and knowing that 9 out of 10 times it has nothing to do with a personal thing has just been really great for me and it keeps me positive. That's really important to me. But then also, these clients can circle back and they can end up at another place and be like, I really liked working with Bobby and Kevin. They were great people. And we want to use them again over here in this new environment. So yeah, I just try. I don't know if I'm answering your questions. I just try not to take things too personal, and also try and be someone who people want to work with. I don't know. I just try and stay positive, and then I feel like in voiceover, if you can give people options, that's always helpful too. If you have some sort of versatility you can give them different things to present to their end client. I feel like I'm all over the map here. Am I making any sense?
No, you summed it up very nicely at the end there.
Yeah. And with voiceover and all the different varieties of VO that you do, what are you working on the most? What genre?
Man, I would say mostly commercial. Okay. E-learning and automotive is a big portion of my business as well, but mostly commercial, and then some corporate narration as well. I would love to do everything at all times, but those are the main things that fill my time. But yeah, mostly commercial. I would say mostly commercial.
You on your site also it mentioned that you kind of do a little bit of everything as far as like producing or writing along with VO.
Yeah.
And I love that you feature your boys and your wife, your family.
Yes.
And some of those produced pieces. Really cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you for taking time to watch them or listen to them. For what it's worth, I enjoy the process of making a commercial or, the narrative structure of it. And so there was a season where I was like making family videos or just because that's the style of commercial I wanted to voice. So I'm kind of like putting those out there as antennas, hoping that, Target, what's up? Knock, knock. Your boy would love to voice an ad for you. So, yeah, that's kind of the thinking behind that. But then, for people listening or interested, I think it's also just helpful to kind of learn, how to structure an ad. And it also builds other services, ancillary services that, I'm able to offer. Like I can mix something to picture, or I can add the music bed, or, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's something I enjoy, which that's part of it. But then, also it's ultimately given me more services to offer to people,
This is voice actor and voice acting coach Linda Bruno, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I heard it's really good.
Chris, everybody's going to wonder, when you're talking about the on-camera stuff that you did and you were talking about commercials and film,
Sure.
Anything that we might have seen?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I look very different now, but there was a hot minute in my youth. I was in I had a small role. So being based in Texas, a lot of the roles for on-camera or 5 and unders, like 5 lines and under. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple of those. And Comanche Moon is one. It was a CBS miniseries. It's a prequel to Lonesome Dove.
Oh, wow.
I had a small scene with Val Kilmer, which was like super exciting to me. I was a big fan of his. And then I have a small role in Friday Night Lights, the television series. I played Connie Britton's lawyer for like a really small scene.
Love it.
I just watched that.
Oh, you did?
Believe
Okay.
it or not. Just like 2 months ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm briefly in that. Funny story, I'm in season 4, and they had said at the time, they were like, hey, we might have her sue the school district, So I was being considered to be her attorney in season 5. And I just kind of spent a few months like going, oh my gosh, this could be crazy, Ultimately, well, spoiler alert, turn it off if you are watching the series, but it's a little bit dated. You should be caught up by now.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
I know, I just watched it.
Did you finish it, Bobby?
I did. I'm not kidding. I had heard for so many years, because I was in radio when that came out, and I was doing afternoons or nights, so I didn't watch it. So once, I saw it came up, and I was like, I'm going to watch this. And it's been how many years now?
Yeah. But anyway, they didn't sue. So I'm in there. They cut one of my scenes, and fortunately, they did keep one small scene. So I did get, luckily, to appear in it, which I'm so grateful for.
Very cool. What about any landmark commercials, any iconic commercials or anything like that?
Well, I wish I could say I am an iconic commercial actor. I hosted a show for anybody who likes video games. I hosted GameStop TV for about 10 years. It was a show that was in all the GameStop stores across the country. And then I'm trying to think of on camera. I was a spokesperson for a bank for a long time in Amarillo. But again, if these are very niche-y environments. So you can see it's kind of a, I know you used to be middle-class VO. It was a very middle-class acting lifestyle. So
Yeah, man. It all adds up to taking care of the family, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
And Chris, beyond just being an on-camera actor and a voice actor on the mic, also is working on some stuff to help people further their career, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But Chris, before that, the bell tolls for thee, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to do a cold read challenge. I am about to send you an email.
An email? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to send you an email. Are you able to pull up script in your booth there?
Yes, you're going to get a wonderful booth door opening, which I tried to avoid, but here we are.
That's right. Do your thing. So the important thing is don't look at the copy of the script. You will start from the top, and you'll read the specs and the direction, and then you dive into the script, okay?
I freshly charged the old iPad for our meeting today because I'm a professional voice actor who comes prepared. All right, what do we got here?
Cold Read Challenge.
Cold Read Challenge.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Just read from the script specs and then just dive into the copy. Don't do the alternate copy yet. Don't even look at that yet.
Okay.
But we're going to do this first one, okay?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, fire away.
All right. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Chris Burnett, coming at you hard with a cold read challenge. We've got your standard direction, y'all. We've got upbeat, friendly, and enthusiastic. All right, so quick question, team. Has this ever happened to you? Introducing the slob stopper. Forget messy spills and unplanned accidents. Just, slip on and enjoy your busy lifestyle. Perfect for your commute and everyday use. Made with compound materials, the slob stopper absorbs on one side and is waterproof on the other. There you go, with 2 layers for double protection. Don't worry about covering up stains anymore. Go to slobstopper.com and order today. Slob Stopper. Bibs aren't just for babies. What
Dude, that's
what
an
have we
actual
just
product.
Done? What have we just done?
It's basic. It's one of those direct response commercials.
Yes.
And it's basically a bib for adults. It's a bib for adults. But they called it the slob stopper. Okay.
There's nothing
really good.
like cold reading for an entire audience.
Very
There's
good.
nothing
Okay.
like it.
Do you mind doing the alternate one now?
Of course not. Let's really
Please
have
do
some
that
fun
one. And
here.
no ad-libbing on this one, please.
Okay, no ad-libbing coming in. Okay,
Read
so
specs.
public service announcement, direction, slower paced, serious, heartfelt, compassionate. So, your girlfriend rolls a Honda, playing workout tapes by Fonda. But Fonda ain't got a motor in the back of her Honda. My Anaconda don't want none. Unless you've got buns, hun. You can do side bends or sit-ups, but please, don't lose that butt.
Kevin, did you write that?
It was very hard to not do it in the
Yeah.
pace of the song, Why do you have to play me like that, Kevin?
That's
come on.
the take, though. That's
Come
the take
on.
right there.
That was hilarious.
And
Chris, I
that's-
got to ask you, going back to the first one, you do ad-libs and you do lead-ins. Do you typically do those in your auditions and then cut them out? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so I don't know I'm doing them sometimes. I'm sure you guys, at least I say this a lot, I'm like, I spend the whole day talking to myself, so it's wonderful to talk to people. I don't know I'm even doing it, to be honest. So, yeah, I usually have to cut a lot of it out.
But Chris, that's a sign of being really connected. I'm seriously. Like,
I
if you
don't even know
you're
I'm
doing it.
Yeah, I don't even know I'm doing it. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, I do. I talk I talk in between, I talk during, I talk before, after. And some of that too, Bobby, is honestly, it's just because life's a little messy at this like season. I've got young kids, and you might get a text that one of your boys is sick, or a phone call might come in that's like personal life. So I'm kind of like in between both stages at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess I do. I talk before I do the whole thing,
Well, most coaches will encourage you to do that. So, I mean, you've got it. You got it down.
Good stuff. Chris has great range, and that's why I was presenting two options, because I knew, the upbeat, enthusiastic, that's like Chris. That's like true to Chris. And then I've also heard him do more serious stuff, and that's why I chose those two scripts. Oh, good stuff, my man. Before we wrap up, I teased it a minute ago. Chris not only does voice acting, he does producing, and he does on-camera stuff, but he's also trying to do a little bit of giving back, and so he's kind of put together I don't know if you want to call it a curriculum, but you've put together a learning tool for folks called the VO Void. Chris, what is the VO Void?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I don't really have like an audience per se, so I don't really like promote this or anything, but so in 2018, this kind of harkens back to like what we were talking about with just through no fault of your own, clients come and go. They come and go. Anyway, I lost probably about four clients in 1 month. So I lost a significant portion of my income in a month's time. Just kind of all happened at one time. During that time, it was obviously I was a little panicked, and I took a job coaching voiceover at a local studio, which I really enjoyed. One of the things that came up a lot during my time there was that the students were like, this is great, but like once I get a demo and all that, like how do I get an actual job in voiceover? So I was like, that's a really good question. And it came up so much that I was like, how am I doing this? And so I kind of distilled my own process of, while I was like in real time building my career back up, I kind of distilled what I was doing. And so that's the VO Void in a nutshell. But yeah, I've got a bunch of free resources on my website. I believe it's under course if you go to my website. And then I've got a bunch of free resources there. Anyway, after you look through those, if you're like, I still want to know more and I'm interested in that, that's what the VO Void is. It's my kind of 3 pillars to like build a voiceover career. Which is like pay-to-play sites, agency representation, and your own marketing and hustle. And so I interview an agent in it. I interview a creative director and kind of ask him, why do you go online casting? Why do you go to a talent agent for casting? I've got some cold calls in there that I made at the time when I was trying to generate up my own business. So it's just kind of like my own journey through it, doing the thing of building my career back up.
And where can people listen or look for that? What's your website?
Yes. So my website is chrisburnettvoiceactor.com. You can click on course and you can see all the free stuff there. And at the end of that, it's the vovoid.com. And you can see all the other things that you want to see about the VO Void. And I look forward to connecting with any and all of you.
I don't know what your age is, and I'm not going to ask, but how blessed are you that you have such a youthful voice? You really do.
Thank you so much. I don't know why, and I don't know if that's good or bad in my day-to-day life, but for voiceover, it has served me really well, and I'm very just thankful for it. But I kind of have a youthful spirit about me anyways, so I don't know. I guess it comes with the package.
Bobby, would you believe that he's 87 years old? 87. He just turned 95 last week.
Yes.
He
That's
will be
why I crushed that
tomorrow.
slob stopper spot. Because it just was right in my true age demographic.
Go out and buy it.
Oh, Chris Burnett, voice actor, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for being on the Making Waves VO podcast, my friend.
Hey, you guys rock. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for everybody who's listening, and I wish everybody who's listening well on your voiceover journey, and I look forward to seeing all of y'all.
Thanks, Chris. It's been fun.
All right, take care.
Well, that was a fun, unique perspective on, because we've always wondered about that, Bobby, going from on camera to on mic. And Chris gave us some insight on the process and how folks may go about that. That was fun.
He seems like such a nice guy and genuine. I love that. I can see why he's being so successful.
Yeah, and what you heard, that's him. That is just him, and that's how he sounds in commercials, and that's just his sound. And I hear him, like I heard him on Jackson Hewitt Tax Spots recently. I've heard him while listening to podcasts at night, doing different stuff, and he's just got a great, comfortable, everyday guy sound.
He is one of his, I was talking about those campaigns. One of them is called Make Waves, and I forgot to bring it up.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah.
I know.
I wonder if, should I say his age? Because I know how old he is. Do you want to know?
Yeah. I'm curious. I know what I would guess.
What's your guess?
I would guess he is 42.
That's pretty insulting, Bobby. Wow. You think he's that old?
Well, he said he's been doing this for how long, but he has such a youthful voice, and I know that there are people that...
I can't believe you would think he's 42. He's 41.
Ah, see?
You should join the circus, Bobby, and guess people's weight and age. That was good.
Too funny.
Oh, good stuff. That was a fun episode, and we've got another great episode coming up next week.
Yeah, all of us think about this or try to do it on our own, but we've got an expert at it. Lead generation. And her name is Nadia Marshall, and she's going to tell us how she got into this, what makes her an expert. She's a VO talent as well. So that's coming up next on the Making Waves VO podcast.
The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
See you next time, Bobby.
See ya.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.